Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at London's property market, which is feeling surprisingly chilly at the moment.
Chilly's a good word for it. The mission here is really to figure out why London seems to be having these, January sales on its property listings.
January sales, yeah. So let's jump into the headline numbers to unpack this. We're seeing 12.7% of London properties had their asking price cut by more than 5%.
And that's just between October and December of last year.
Exactly. But at the same time, values across the capital have only fallen by, what, 0.1% over the whole year? It sounds tiny.
It does sound tiny, and that's why it's so misleading. The real story is that London's price growth has just completely stagnated.
Stagnated how?
Well, it's performing so poorly that the capital actually holds the bottom 5 spots in a ranking of 120 UK areas for 2026 prospects.
The bottom 5. So if the overall price drop is so small, what's the metric we should be watching instead? What's the alarm bell?
It's time. The smoking gun here is what the industry calls aged stock. More than a third of all properties in London, that's over 33%, have been just sitting on the market for over 6 months.
Wow, a third.
Yeah, and if you compare that to the best performing markets elsewhere in the UK, they're only seeing about 7% aged stock.
That's a huge gap.
It's a massive gap. And all that unsold inventory is what's forcing these really quite dramatic price cuts.
So where is this pressure most concentrated? Is it all over London?
It's localized, but it's deep. You see the highest percentage of discounts nationally, about 15%, in those really high-value SW postcodes. Think Belgravia, Chelsea.
Right, the top of the market.
But, and this is where it gets really telling, you have to look at West Central London. WC postcodes, so Covent Garden, Holborn.
Okay, what's happening there?
While 14% were discounted, which is high, a shocking 51%. More than half of properties there have been on the market for more than 6 months.
More than half?
51%. It's taking the longest time to sell anywhere in the capital, an average of 82 days.
So the most central prime areas are struggling the most to actually move property.
Exactly. And if you connect the dots, you see this perfect storm of, affordability pressures, a big increase in supply, and those higher stamp duty costs that kicked in last April.
And that supply side is a really key part of the story, isn't it? This idea of a landlord exodus.
Oh, absolutely. It's a critical driver. Almost a third of homes for sale right now are actually formerly rented properties.
So landlords are just selling up and getting out.
They are. They're looking at the weaker price inflation, lower yields, and deciding it's time to sell. This floods the market with stock, which gives buyers a ton more choice.
Which, in turn, drives that weaker outlook and pushes down prices.
You've got it.
But some of the sources we looked at suggest that the tide is beginning to turn. They're pointing to fewer price reductions since the start of this year.
That's the hopeful counterargument, yes. And there was a slight boost to buyer affordability after that December interest rate cut.
So the advice for buyers hoping for a bargain is to act quickly.
That seems to be the thinking before these opportunities potentially dry up.
Okay, so while London is going through this major adjustment, what's happening in the rest of the UK?
It's like a completely different story. Zoopla is actually predicting the average UK property will see a 1.5% boost in value this year.
And that growth is being led by Scotland and the north of England?
Precisely. A town like Motherwell, for example, is expected to see something like 3.4% growth.
Which raises that classic question the source material brings up. Why is the north often steadier, while the south, especially London, can overheat and then catch a cold so badly?
And that's the final thought we want to leave with you, the listener. It's really about considering this. How much does the sensitivity of a very high-value property influence its volatility?
You mean like a £1 million flat versus an average semi-detached somewhere else?
Exactly. Is it fundamentally more sensitive to external factors like mortgage rates and general confidence? That's really something worth mulling over as you watch the market move this year.